And I'll tell you, you know, when I met Jackie through Valentis, through, you know, we connected right away. And I'll tell you this, Jackie knows her Emulin, very, very well. I think she's very, very well versed in knowing about Emulin as a product for her own use, but also know Emulin as a product that she's been working with Dr. Ahrens. And so I invited her on here today because I really feel, I mean, with my full heart and passion, I feel that Emulin is so important. And I can't reiterate the importance of what we have here and the significance of what we have here. I keep repeating that over and over again, and just understand how I feel. When you realize this, when you have to think about, I want you all, after we're done with this, I want you to go on to look up Nobel Prize. Look up how many people get nominated every year and how many people win the Nobel Prize, right? But look up, see how many people get nominated twice, at least twice, especially for a product, right? Most people get nominated for a Nobel Prize for doing something else, but this is for a product that just blows my mind. I mean, I had all my own results with that. I won't talk about that, but just I invited Miss Jackie come on here because of that, because she is, to me, the professional outside of Dr. Joseph Ahrens in terms of what we have here, right? And so without further ado, I just want to bring you on, Jackie, to share your wealth with Emulin and share your experience with Emulin. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, welcome our amazing, amazing Emerald Jackie Boyle out of Australia.
Thanks, Dr. Che, and thank you everybody for joining us, and for those that watch this afterwards as well. I really am very honored to be able to share the beauty of what Emulin can do and how it can assist people and how it can support you. I'm not going to go in depth into what my journey is. I'll do a very short version of it, but I was lucky enough to be introduced to Emulin nearly 4 years ago now. And I've been working alongside Dr. Ahrens because of my own personal health. So if you can imagine, I'm 54 years old, and at 2 hours old was my first surgery. And I had the first 2 years in hospital full-time, just lots of surgeries. And I continue to this day every 3 months to have a day surgery, which I had last week. Hi, Jen. Last week as well. So every 3 months I go in for a general anesthetic day surgery for just one of the 6 major conditions that I do have, which is to do with my bladder, which I'll share with you. And why I'm telling you this, I mean, mine comes from having a chronic bladder disorder through to bowel issues, 3 major spinal surgeries, fibromyalgia, sensory peripheral neuropathy. I did suffer with insomnia, chronic depression, chronic pain, and I'm pleased to say it's all been managed with Emulin. And and I have scientific experts that have written letters for me to be able to back that up. So it comes with a lot of passion because it has changed my life around. But there's one thing that I'd really like to emphasize, and I'm going to share a presentation, which I'm hoping that you will all get a lot of benefit out of, is that it takes time. So without further ado, because I'd love you guys to ask me questions if you want to later as well, as I share this with you. So I'll just screen share across here and bring this up and just open this right up, and hopefully you will, where are we? Here we go. That we'll get some, where are we? We've got it there. Okay, so when I look at Emulin, and just to share this with you, like Emulin really is the missing link in health. And when we talk about Emulin as to why it is the missing link, what is Emulin and why is it essential for everyone? What is Emulin made from? And what is the link between today's nutrition and Emulin? So these are things that I'm going to cover as we go through these slides. I'll just pop this up out of the road. Otherwise I won't be able to see. Okay, so let's talk. And let me ask you these things first, okay? And I want you to think about this for yourself personally. I want you yourself sitting there, wherever you are, in the pool, at home, think about this for you. I would like you to think about how you feel right now. And let's consider what a difference your lifestyle choices can make to your health. And hopefully you are thinking about that right now, because when I think about three things personally, when I look at it, is health, wealth, and happiness. But when we break it right down, like health, you know, do you want to feel better? So imagine being able to wake up every morning and actually feeling more energized and enjoy your family, your friends, and socializing. And imagine wealth. So do you want to be rich in health? So being ill costs a lot of money. So investing time in your health before your health invests all your time is a really big priority that I really believe that people should put a lot of investment into. And happiness. Would you like to have less aches and pains? Because can you imagine what you would be able to do if you were able to have your dreams that you want to have that are in front of you, that you can actually achieve those, and that you're able to tick off your bucket list because you have the ability to, because you are happy, because you have the wealth of good health. And I want you to think about this. So how long have you been trying to manage the symptoms of your conditions that you are currently dealing with? And these could be just even like a slight swelling in your big toe, through to having migraines or having eczema, just whatever it is that you are struggling with that you've been currently dealing with, just have a little bit of a think about it. So Emulin needs time to assist and support your body. So if we go across and we start looking at this, and I want you to really think about this, because it's an interesting thing when we start looking at it here, that if we go over and we look at, oops, I've jumped back forward one, today. So today, when I first started, which, you know, I was feeling very much like this sad, unhappy person. But in 3 months' time, I was still feeling a little bit blue, but I actually felt a lot better than what I was. 6 months, I started to feel pretty darn good. And then by 9 months, I was really smiling, and 12 months, I was a completely different person. So the message being is that it takes time to allow your body to be able to unravel. So people feel the difference within weeks and feel fantastic. So the general run-of-the-mill people that do not have a lot of conditions that they are managing, they do feel the difference within weeks. And even I did. Within 1 to 2 weeks, there were certain things that I really noticed. So you will be amazed in 30 days. But just understand that your health is just like this road that we're looking at. It's a winding road that we're going through. It's called life, and things change for us all the time. So one of the first things that I can say that I hear, I'll personally say for myself that I noticed, but I also will say that a lot of other people comment on this too, that mental clarity, seeing life with a clear focus minus any fog, like brain fog. What do you see in your future? And it's one of the first steps forward when you start taking Emulin, you start to notice. So when we're looking at Emulin and what it addresses, Emulin is actually one of the world's first, well, it is the world's first clinically proven carbohydrate manager, but it also controls sugars. I just want to go through a little bit of education with carbohydrates and sugars, because some people think that they're one and the same. But if we start looking at what the problems are, why do our bodies develop inflammation? So one of the main problems is that carbohydrates metabolize into simple sugars and raise your blood sugar levels, causing inflammation. So just as a little visual there for people that do eat rice, in the average small bowl of rice, you're looking at quite a fair bit of sugar that is in that bowl of rice. So in saying that, rice has no nutritional benefit except when being used as an energy source. So if I can say that again, it doesn't have any nutritional benefit unless you're using it as energy. So if you're not using it up as energy, what do you think it's going to do? It's going to be stored, transferred across into sugar, and then it's going to fuel the inflammation within the body. So refined sugar, it's a toxin, an addictive drug, a poison, never meant to be stored in our bodies. And we start looking over a period in time that the change that's happened in sugar consumption, we've gone from the 1700s to 2 pounds a year for the average person, into the 2000s. In the year 2000s, 110 pounds of sugar a year. It's a massive increase. And that comes through our dietary choices. And there's a lot of things that are contributing factors. It's how our food's been grown. It's convenience. It's the time management, time poor. There's so much more availability or so many more options in regards to fast food, unfortunately, which, you know, is refined carbohydrates and are actually foods that are loaded with sugars. So in nature, sugar is either a poison or an energy source. So if we start looking at the sugar addiction facts, there is a cycle. So you start eating sugar, you like it, you crave it, and it becomes addictive. What it does do is that it elevates the blood sugar, but the dopamine in the brain is released and it gives you that feel-good feeling, like it's when you eat chocolate and you instantly feel good. That's because you're getting the dopamine in the brain that's being released. You get a massive insulin secreted. The blood sugar levels then will get to a stage of where they drop. Now, when they do drop, high insulin levels then cause fat storage, and the body craves the loss of that sugar high. So those dopamine levels that were raised very rapidly, they drop just as quickly because they're empty calories. So low blood sugar then comes into play and the cycle is repeated. So whilst you get a short-term feeling of where you're feeling really great because you've eaten something sugary, it's going to drop just as rapidly as well for you. So this is where Emulin becomes quite a good source because it helps you to control your sugars and helps you to not want to absorb as many sugars as well. So carbohydrates are individual units of sugar. And I wanted to make this very clear for people because a lot of people think that they are separate identities, and whilst they are one and the same thing. Sugars are actually individual units of carbohydrates. So that's why rice, pasta, those types of things are loaded with sugars. And we try to ask you to try and limit that amount. And that's where Emulin becomes quite a powerful vitamin because it chaperones through up to 1/3 of those carbs. So excess carbs lead to carb toxicity. So increased blood sugar, elevated blood fats, excessive weight gain, poor sleep, sluggish physical and mental energy. These are all things that can come from having carb toxicity, so having too many carbohydrates in the body that you're not using as fuel. And it causes like tiredness and constant hunger. So I'm sure there's a lot of you on here that have had that food coma, you know, that you'll have a really big meal and then afterwards it's just like, oh gosh, I need to just go and lay down or I need to rest. You more than likely have had too many carbohydrates and you're not using them as fuel. So the body's trying to get through that process and that feeling. What do I do with them? I just need to sleep. So prolonged excess carbs is a main root of most diseases that we're actually dealing with. I really like this because I look at this and I think that refined carbohydrates and sugars fuel inflammation. So one match will just trigger a domino effect of inflammation within the body. So if we can try and assist the body to be able to manage inflammation, when we start looking at all the effects that inflammation can create on the body, Emulin has the ability to be able to regulate the immune system to support inflammatory levels within the body. So if I can say that again to you, that Emulin regulates the immune system to support inflammatory levels throughout the whole body. So have a look at this little man, and he's not a very happy little camper, as you can see, and he's got inflammation across his big belly. But the big thing that I really noticed around here, all of these things that are circling him all around his body, that can you relate to any of these? Maybe somebody that you know, because a lot of these things, we do not have the ability to be able to actually see them until we start to feel them. And by the time we start to feel them, there's already a huge level of inflammation within the body that's starting to create a problem for us. So inflammation is present in all of these conditions. In the next slide that I'm going to show you, I want you to notice the roots of the tree that are relying on our nutritional choices to stay healthy. So in the next slide that's following this, deficiencies within can develop inflammatory related conditions. So in this slide, as I said to you, can you say yes to any of these? As a tree, think of your body. So as the roots of the tree are relying on the good nutrition of the soil, so are our internal organs. They're relying on us to fuel our body with pristine choices. And if we don't, we start to have stress. We start to have all of these things underlying in the roots of the tree that start to lack. And then all of a sudden, externally, we start to notice that things start to happen to our body. but it's been happening underneath the surface. Within our body, it's been happening. And this is where Emulin has the ability to be able to support the internal parts of your body that you cannot see, to be able to provide you with the chance to be able to manage carbohydrates, sugars, and inflammation. So inflammation is the first step of the immune response to infection, irritation, or injury. So we need inflammation. Like, it is a good thing on a short term. So inflammation is useful for the body so long as it is short term, or what they call acute. So if you do cut yourself, you're going to have inflammation. The body's going to send all the little troops there to help you to be able to repair and recover. But it's the long term. It's like the chronic inflammation that can cause other diseases. Some of them can be life-threatening, like heart disease, diabetes, cancer, and more. So excessive consumption of refined carbohydrates can lead to inflammation. And this is why when we start looking at the power of Emulin and the ability of what it provides to us to help us to manage the inflammation within the body, it can help us to be able to feel healthier going forward. So the missing link to nutrition, I personally feel for myself, one of the key elements is Emulin. It is that missing link because, in short, nearly 85 to 95% of health disorders are inflammation-based. That's 85 to 95%, meaning they were likely triggered by inflammatory imbalance. So why would this product differ to all other anti-inflammation products on the market? It's simple. It deals with the root cause and not just the symptoms thereof. And there are currently no other products on the market like this. None at all. And the beauty of it being is that it is the natural product. So, you know, natural changes do occur. Food simply lacked nutrients needed. So this is what we're looking at has happened to our system over a period of time. And what happened? Flavonoid deficiency syndrome was actually realized. So Dr. Ahrens realized that what was happening within our systems is that we simply weren't getting the food that we used to, simply getting the benefits out of the food that we used to be getting 50 years ago, even 20 years ago. So there's a lack of flavonoids in the diet, which results in dysfunctional carbohydrate metabolism, and chronic inflammation then starts to become a really big issue for us, and disease, or the body becomes in dis-ease. So Emulin puts back what has been taken out of our food or out of our original diets, because our food simply does not have what we used to get out of it. So flavonoids are found in fruit and vegetables. Emulin replaces the flavonoids which are missing from our food and our diet. Flavonoid deficiency syndrome results in low energy, and eating more carbohydrates only makes it worse. So I want to say this, so just stop, because we are not curing or treating any diseases here. So I just want to make sure that we do put that right across to people. This is a vitamin that is essential. So who, what, and how? Like, what is the missing link of nutrition? Emulin, which has been created by Nobel Prize nominated scientist Dr. Joseph Ahrens. He was nominated in 2015 and 2016, and one of those was for Emulin. The other one was for Ebola, in the work that he did with Ebola throughout Africa. So what is in Emulin? So this is one of the key active ingredients, which is chlorogenic acid, which comes from the green coffee bean. And what can this product look at doing for us? It's a powerful antioxidant. It improves your blood circulation, your immune system, helps in weight management, regulates your blood sugar, improves your metabolism, and boosts your energy as a detox as well. The second active ingredient is myristicin, which comes from grapes, or grape promise as such. So it's an extract of. And in regards to myristicin, we're looking again at reducing inflammation, promotes a healthy heart, your skin, lowers cholesterol, improves your vein elasticity. In regards to UVB, so sun exposure, like, it's very good in regards to, Dr. Ahrens will quite often say that Emulin will assist you in not getting, having the ability to get too sunburnt. And I know that I never have been since I've been taking Emulin, and that for me is just my testimonial as well. It promotes a healthy brain and provides blood circulation. Healthy brain, and I said to you, one of the first things that you will notice is that the brain fog starts to lift, and you start to be able to think a lot more clearly than what you could. And the third active ingredient is quercetin, which comes from the onion bulb. And just remember, like, these aren't chunks of grapes or coffee beans or onions. These are extracts. So this is why it's okay for dogs to be able to use it, and for people that wouldn't normally be able to eat onions or be able to eat grapes, or they may not have coffee in their diets in any other form. But when we're looking at quercetin, again, reducing inflammation, heart and blood vessel support, fights arthritis and chronic fatigue, allergies and infection assistance, and improves the immune system. So they're quite, when you're looking at the 3 active ingredients, when you're putting them together in synergy, you know, these ingredients are what we know as the essential vitamin called emulin. So when I start looking at it here, just for you to understand too, when you start looking at the food that you eat, I mentioned about having a white bowl of rice. And if we look at the grey little arrow through here, 1 little bowl of rice, this is how much it elevates your sugar levels rapidly, as opposed to 1 single apple, which is the red arrow. So you can see through our food choices that constant intake of excess carbohydrates or refined carbohydrates leads to chronic inflammation. So this is where emulin becomes very powerful in being able to assist the body. And the other thing is to understand that emulin derives from parts of plants, as I've just explained to you. So how does emulin actually work? Well, it manages sugar at 7 critical points. So emulin upregulates or downregulates 7 key enzymes in your body to control how you use sugar. So the body wants to maintain status quo, or what we call homeostasis. So it's like a traffic cop, if you can imagine, in a big city, traffic control, where there's 1 cop trying to manage all of that traffic. If you just control 1 of the control points, the body is clever enough to work around it. So we need to try and target those 7, and this is what emulin has been able to do. So what can emulin do, and how can it assist and support my body's health or your body's health? There are 7 points, as I've mentioned, in the body which interact with carbohydrates, and we need to modify the effect of the carbohydrates on the body. Emulin helps with better energy and sleep, less joint pain. It reduces the cravings for sweet and carbohydrate foods. Emulin provides a daily dose of flavonols to reset the metabolism, and within a week we will see an improvement in our health. We need to reduce our intake of carbohydrates and increase proteins and fats. And I want you to think about this, that it is possible to have a meal or even 1 day a week without any carbohydrates in the body. Your body will still be okay. Now, when we eat sugar, part of the brain which lights up is the same part which lights up when people use cocaine. That's how damaging that sugar is to the body. If you can think about sugar and cocaine in 1 sentence, it's pretty scary. So real food has color and taste and can be eaten raw. So when I say real food, we cannot eat wheat and rice raw because our bodies do not have the enzymes to digest them. So then therefore they become like a refined product. There's something that has been refined with a use-by date because it cannot be eaten raw. So rice, again, as I said, has no benefit to the body. So how to tell if something is a good carbohydrate is to ask if it can be eaten raw. We need to eat fruit, eggs and nuts. We cannot live without protein and fats, but we can live without carbohydrates. And 1 in 5 people are actually carbohydrate sensitive. So let's try and balance the body. And how do we do that? We manage the sugars, we support the immune system, we try to restore to normal. So emulin regulates inflammation and properly manages sugar in your diet as nature intended it to be. So who should take emulin? Just like a vitamin, everybody should. You know, young to old, health or sickly, high blood sugar or low, overweight or thin, sedentary or even through to the athletic people, everybody needs to be taking it. So if I look at this picture, it goes right through from babies through to even somebody that is carrying a child and is pregnant, through to your pets as well. I know that I use it for my pets also, so everybody can use emulin. So I hear you asking, which one do I need? So for those of you that know that we actually have 2, First, let me say this. Everyone does need Emulin, and it provides our body with essential nutrients that food is missing. I just want to ensure that you understand this. We have made two forms of Emulin. They both manage sugar metabolism, and they both manage inflammation. Both of them do this. But Emulin C is focusing on controlling sugars. Emulin M is focusing on managing inflammation. That's the difference between the two in short for you. So when we're looking at Emulin M, it's the maintenance for a healthy lifestyle. So mental clarity, it's an inflammation manager and immune support. And everybody can take it unless you are insulin sensitive. So if you are gestational diabetic, or if you're type 1, type 2 diabetic, Emulin M is not for you, but everybody else can take Emulin M. Emulin C is an optimized sugar management vitamin. So this is actually targeting people that actually need to maintain proper sugar levels. So as I said, if you're a gestational diabetic while you're carrying your child, or whether you're a type 1 or a type 2, Emulin C is the one that you actually need. And it's and again, as I said, it's a patent blend of natural plant flavors and helps maintain the regular blood sugar levels. So families of all ages are safe to use a natural plant-based vitamin Emulin. So as I said, pregnant mothers through to babies and toddlers, young children to teenagers, adults of all ages, and family pets as well. So anybody can take it. Everyone is different. So this is really important to me when I explain this to you. So I hope that you actually do absorb this and take this away, that no two people are the same. So the recommended dose may need adjusting. Emulin is a vitamin, and it is safe to adjust your daily intake as needed. So if you're navigating with a medical condition that is challenging you, please consider adjusting your normal daily dose, as it can assist and support you in reducing inflammation and symptoms. So for instance, the average dose is 2 capsules per day, just for the general maintenance of people. So if you're not navigating and you through a lot of problems, you know, 2 capsules a day is quite okay for you. My husband has 2 capsules a day. He's fit, he's healthy. At 60, he's amazing. He's just got an incredible athletic body, because that's what he does as a profession. As opposed to me, I'm dealing with 6 major conditions. So I take 8 Emulin a day. That's my base dose. And I regulate and play around with that a little bit. So detoxing can be experienced when you first start taking Emulin, and it can happen again, and it's usually on every blood cycle, like every 3 months. If you're going to experience any detoxing changes, be aware this could be, you know, things you might get a little bit of a headache, or you might actually feel like that you're a little bit dehydrated, and you will feel like that you may feel a little bit off. It can happen because what it's doing, it's just your body trying to change as it experiences that it's changing the symptoms that your body's trying to maintain as well. So your body's not going to be happy with having the changes made for it. So this is where the detoxing symptoms can be experienced. So make sure that you rehydrate with water, fuel your body with quality choices to support your body as it rebalances itself with the support of Emulin. So the science and technology. Emulin has had over 15 years of research. Not 1 year, but over 15 years. And Emulin has clinical studies and patents. So just looking at the PubMed extract on Emulin, and looking at human clinical trials that were done on 40 patients. So you'll be able to look back through these. So when we look at, we have an active group of people, and then we have the placebo group of people too when they're doing clinical trials. These are the patents that are attached and associated to Emulin as well. So the credibility stacks up with the science and technology behind this product. So when we start looking at what our competitors are, there are just a few here, but if we go back to those 7 pathways, so those 7 ways of being able to manage your carbohydrates and your sugars, there's 7 key elements: starch to sugar conversion, glucose absorption, glucose tissue uptake, fat formation, glucose homeostasis, insulin release, insulin sensitivity. Emulin ticks the box on all of those, and we've just chosen 10 or 12 competitors down here, and there is not one of those that can actually compete and tick off the whole 7 as Emulin can. So allow your body to find balance and unwind the feelings of dis-ease with the time that it needs. It takes time to assist your body to unravel at a cellular level so you can begin to feel the support of Emulin. So think how long that you have been navigating and trying to manage your body's symptoms that you're struggling with right now. So for any of you that are struggling with a problem, has it been 1 week? Has it been 1 year? Has it been 5 years or 10 years? As long as it's been in your body, just allow yourself the time for the body to unravel that. So it's going to take time, but I promise you, you are going to feel the difference. So have patience as Emulin provides you with the missing link. So if I can say this to you, it's one of my favorite sayings, and I've got goosebumps when I read this, that invest time in your health before your health invests all of your time. And I do want to thank you all very kindly for listening to this presentation. So I will just end this show and I'll take it back to Dr. Chi, hopefully there. And if you've got any questions, please ask, because if one thing I can say to you, Emulin, it will make a huge difference in supporting and assisting your body. I guarantee you that, but you just have to give it time for you, because every single one of you are different. It is safe for everybody, but you just have to explain to people. It's not like some of the other products that we may have that you're going to get an instant experience from it. This is going to help you, but it's helping you from what you can't see, just like the roots of the tree. You know, you see a tree and it starts to die. Well, it didn't die in a week. You know, it started to get sick a long time before that, and that's what happens within our bodies. So if we can look at this as being an investment in your health and being able to provide your body with what it needs to be able to help manage your inflammatory levels, you're going to be going a long way to supporting yourself and feeling a lot better as you go forward. So I want to thank you all. If you've got any questions, please ask, because I am very passionate about this product, because personally I know that it works. As I've said before, if some of you haven't heard, I was scheduled to be in a wheelchair. That was my diagnosis, and I started taking Emulin, and I have reduced my medications from 14 scripted drugs a day down to Emulin, and I take 1 sleeping tablet overnight, I have to say that. But outside of that, everything else is gone, and I've actually come back to being a normal, healthy person than what I was before. So, and it's all just due to Emulin, in all honesty, and that's my testimonial. That comes from my heart. And as I said, if anyone ever wants any of my doctor's reports, I'm happy to give them to you. And just very quickly, Dr. Chi, I just wanted to say last week I was in hospital for my regular 3-monthly day surgery that I have on my bladder, because I used to get ulcerated ulcers, and they would bleed, they were pussy, it was horrible. This has been for over 24 years. So every 3 months I'm going in for day surgery, and I started taking Emulin nearly 4 years ago. But it took about 9 months. But every 3 months I go in there now, and I get a little bit excited about to see what my report's going to be. And last Thursday, I'm very happy to say that my anaesthetist and my specialist that's been treating me for the 24 years, both just said to me, you know, it's just amazing. And they are very excited to know that it's coming to Australia, and it's going to be registered in Australia, that we'll be able to then share it in amongst the medical professionals, because these people have witnessed it internally inside of my body for a long period in time. So personally for me, I can share it with you, and I know that it's still working very well. That's why I feel so amazing. So thank you, Dr. Chi. Thank you, everybody. If you've got any questions, please ask.
Anyone have questions? Please unmute yourself. You have the ability to unmute yourself, ask questions, because this is the time to ask questions. You know, and you have one of the best individuals who knows about Emulin. So please, please ask if you have any questions, and just understand that no questions are dumb questions, okay? Everything's important. Anybody have questions at all?
I got on, Dr. Chi. This is Mike Castillo in Houston.
Okay, Mike.
New Year's Day of this year, my son had like a gash on his forehead from an accident, and his doctor could not believe that in just 2 weeks, he's eating, like, I put the Emulin in a cookie. In 2 weeks, the 10 stitches that he got look like it's been months old. How does Emulin affect with the healing of a gash like that?
When you're looking at inflammation in the body, as I said, if you've got acute inflammation is something that is a short term. A chronic is long term. So when you get acute inflammation, if you get an injury, you cut yourself, you break a bone, the body automatically sends inflammation to that area to help you to heal. Where Emulin actually assists you is by being able to manage the inflammation. So the inflammation does not stay there in a larger quantity as such for long periods in time. So it allows the body to be able to process and heal. I shouldn't say heal. It allows the body to be able to support and assist the body to start to recover. And by being able to provide the ability to manage those refined carbs and control the sugars, because both of those two things fuel inflammation. So by being able to reduce the inflammatory levels and stopping them from staying there for longer periods in time, the body's able to heal itself and able to get back to its normal place of where it was prior to being injured.
Thank you.
Ronnie, you had a question? You raise your hand.
Yes, good evening, Jackie. Thank you very much for this wonderful presentation. I'd just like to ask if do you have any information about the freeze shoulder, or do you have testimony about the freeze shoulder if we use the Emulin M or Emulin?
I will say, Ronnie, like everybody's different. I've heard some amazing testimonials over, nearly the 4-year period. So again, I'm not going to say we cure, heal, or fix anything. All I can say to you is that I've seen some incredible recoveries in people, and I've seen some amazing mobility in people that's been returned even with frozen shoulders. So, but that comes down to that person's choice too. So whilst Emulin is not like a magic pill, like you have to help yourself as well. Like it's going to support you and provide you with like a toolbox. It's going to provide you with the tools that your body needs, but you also have to make good food choices to be able to support it, to fast track for you to be able to feel better. And I look at that even in elite athletes on where my husband's at, where he's dealing with a lot of those. And I've seen some incredible things happen where people have been the likes of fibromyalgia and they've been on a walking frame or a walking stick, and they're professional dancers, or they were, they've gone to where they do not need that anymore. So stick with it, because I believe that the mobility has a good chance of being able to be supported and assisted to come back to where you're going to feel that it's better than what it currently is at the moment.
Thank you. Riolu, you have a question.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Dr. Chin, Jackie, thank you for doing this training. But I have a question. Is there a contraindication that we have to know, like any reactions with the current medications that are taken by patients this time?
I think with Emulin, you should always consult your doctor anyway. So if you're dealing with a lot of medical conditions and you're on a lot of medications when you first start taking Emulin, please consult with your doctor. Take the product there and show them, and let them tell you what you need to be doing. Ultimately, it's up to you as an individual to make that choice, but to do the most responsible thing, we always ask you to take it to your doctor, because they will be able to guide you. But knowing that it's a plant-derived product, it is safe, but it's still the safest way to do is to go to your doctor, because there is one area that you do need to be mindful of, and that is with blood thinners. So warfarin is one of those blood thinners that you do have to ensure that you go to the doctor and you get them to monitor whilst you're on Emulin. Whilst I did the clinical trials, there were a few people that flagged that were taking warfarin, and there were a few things that occurred for them. So you just need to make sure that you do consult with your doctor, because if you are on a lot of medications, it can have, as I said to you, it's trying to change the balance of where your body's at. So if you can consider I'm going to speak about myself because then I can't get into trouble here. But if you can imagine myself being on 4-day medications, and being very immobile, not being able to think straight, and literally just living in a bubble. I was a mess. I consulted with my doctor, but what happened to me, my body hated me because when I started taking Emulin, it started to chaperone through up to 1/3 of those carbohydrates through my body. It also controlled the amount of sugars that I was consuming. So what happened, my body did like a knee-jerk response, like it said, hang on a minute, I'm not happy with this. So I did get headaches, I got a bit of nausea, I got a bit of bloatedness. You will urinate a lot more when you first start taking Emulin, so you need to make sure that you put a few minerals back in, like pink Himalayan rock salt back into your body, just to provide a few more minerals from so you don't dehydrate. So the body will say, it'll fight back against you and say, hang on a minute, I want all of those carbohydrates and I want all of those sugars in my body. So if you can imagine when Emulin's trying to chaperone through, and it's the 7 traffic cops that are helping the body, it's not going to like it. So this is where the rebalance comes in and the detoxing can happen for you. So, but if you allow yourself that time, the body will rebalance and it will move on to the next stage. So stick with it. And this is where it is important to realize that no two people are the same, that if you are on a lot of medications, I will say this to you, and you do have a lot of conditions, may I suggest to you, my personal experience is to start off slow. Start off 1 capsule a day, try that for 2 or 3 days, then go on to the 2 capsules a day. And then if you're needing 8 a day like I am, build up to it, because I can tell you if you take 8 a day straight away and you saturate your system, your body's really going to have, you're creating a really big imbalance that it's not going to be happy with. So slow is best, but it will do its job for you and it will support and assist your body in every manner possible.
Darwin, you have a question, sir?
Yes, Doc, thank you. Thank you so much, Jackie, for this great information and presentation. Anyway, my question is this. What is the recommendation for if you have a person, what is the recommended dosage if there is a person that have it's like stage 1, stage 2, or stage 3 cancer?
That's a really tough one, to be quite honest, because I don't think any of us like to make any comment in regards to any condition, let alone cancer. And it's something that I think that you really need to refer back and talk to your doctor about. All I can say to you, cancer is something that is fueled through inflammation, but it's not the main cause, like something else has created that to occur. So Emulin's certainly not going to hurt it. I've had some people that I've worked with cancer from stage 1 through to stage 4. It's an individual thing. So as I said, I can't give you that answer because you really have to let that person try for themselves as to what it is. As I said, I take 8. Somebody else might only need to take 2. Somebody else might need to take 4. There isn't really a strict guideline rule as to what's, one shoe fits all, because there isn't that. What I will say to you is somebody that I know very close, it does do remarkable things, but it does not heal, cure, or fix. So even with cancer, somebody that I know has had 3 tumors in the brain, it has totally, like their cancer is completely gone. Now, was it from the chemo? Was it from the radiation? Emulin certainly supported it, but we can't make those claims. So it's certainly not going to hurt you. If you can keep inflammation levels down, you're going to assist your body to be able to support you in being healthier to get through it. So my 6 conditions that I have, they're still there. I still have neuropathy, I still have fibromyalgia, I still have all of these things there. They haven't gone anywhere, but I'm managing and supporting my body with the ability of having Emulin on board each day. And I've found that happy medium for me. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Jackie.
Any other questions before we let Jackie go? She's very busy. Anyone else have questions?
Dr. Chi, this is Katie. I have a couple of questions.
Yes, Katie.
Jackie, by the way, you look lovely. I'm wearing the same top. You look like very lovely. I look like I'm ready to bed, so pardon my picture right there. My first question is, for those people that are borderline diabetic. They're not really diagnosed yet with type 2 diabetes. Their sugar levels are a little high. Is it better to take Emulin M or just go to Emulin C?
Unless they've actually been diagnosed officially, then they're fine to take Emulin M.
Okay.
And that's a general rule of thumb. I mean, and if they find that if they actually have any sort of reaction to it, which they may do in the first week, they may have to drop back. And that's one other thing I'd like to make mention to you. If someone's starting, and this is my personal experience as well, being on all of those medications when I started on Emulin M, and it was too much for my body. It couldn't manage the rebalance and the shift. So I went to Emulin C, even though I'm not a diabetic, and I used Emulin C for 1 month. And then I transferred over onto Emulin M, and I haven't looked back. And why I did that was because my system just was not happy with taking that many carbohydrates away and controlling that many sugars away from my system with all of those conditions and the medications that I had on board. So this is why I say to you, no two people are the same. You need to try and regulate it. But if they're not actually diagnosed as a diabetic, then they start on Emulin M.
Thank you so much. That's very helpful. Another one, if you don't mind, I am looking for a, what do you call this, testimonial about ileotical band syndrome, IBS. Do you have any?
IBS?
Yes.
There's plenty of them out there. IBS, again, is an inflammation-based condition. And I have seen so many positive testimonials on IBS because, again, it's fueled by what we're eating. And, you know, what we eat actually fuels inflammation. So if we can try to support and assist the body again in reducing inflammation levels, you're going to find that the symptoms that you're experiencing are going to lessen. And there are plenty of those out there with the IBS.
Thank you so much, Jackie.
Pleasure. What I will say to you guys, because I think Dr. Chi is probably going to think about winding this up, Dr. Aaron's is actually starting tomorrow, so I'm going to be we're kicking that into gear tomorrow evening. So I think it's 8 p.m. Florida time. So it's his very first talk on the immune system and how you can look to be able to support yourself in today's world as to what we're dealing with. And he's going to have regular talks. I think the next one's going to be on weight management. So not always targeting Emulin and 24/7, but it'll be other things as well. So it's going to be quite, it's exciting to have his expertise on board. So make sure that you don't miss out on those two.
Well, Jackie, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate you very much. I know everyone appreciate you and the knowledge you have and the information you share with us today. And just want to close with this. Just understand this. You know, again, like what Jackie talked about. Everything that all the diseases, everything that we suffer from is from inflammation, one way or the other. So just think about that itself. And also, you have to realize this is just a little supplement we add to our life, right? So we can't expect Emulin to do everything. We have to take care of our health. We have to manage our diet. For example, some people go, well, I have gout and I take Emulin, doesn't help me. Well, it's not because of Emulin is going to help you. You need to change your diet, for example. You have to think about that. It's all about overall body health and your exercise and your diet is very, very important in helping us take advantage of the products like Emulin or actually all of our products. Okay, remember that. Remember that. The questions you all ask is very, very like, oh, is it going to treat this, treat that? Think about that. We can never make that claim. Never ask about, all the different diseases. You have to be very careful, especially with Emulin. Emulin has a big, giant microscope, looking down on it because of its significance. It's very significant. So just be careful in what you do with the way you talk and the way you share things with people. Never, ever make assumption of that it's going to help with, diseases and treating diseases. Never at all. Just think of inflammation, think of carbohydrate and sugar metabolism, then you're all good. And basically immune support, okay?
And I think two key words, Dr. Che, is assist and support.
Yes, that's right.
You can think of those two things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just one other little thing. I know it's not 24/7's topic here tonight, but please do your research because we might jump into that another time. But 24/7 is a great marriage partner to have with Emulin because there are two active ingredients in 24/7 that are in Emulin. So it's a really phenomenal combination to put the two together. Because one supports the other because 24/7 has two active ingredients in it, the same as what Emulin does. So it's quite a powerful marriage when you put the two together. But Dr. Che, I want to thank you. I want to thank everybody, myself personally, that's joined on this call. I really appreciate it, and it is a real honor to be able to do this. So thank you, my friend.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to more to come. So ladies and gentlemen, have a great night. It is recorded. I will convert it and I will post it and all that. So again, thank you, Jackie, so much for this. Appreciate you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.